morning, Australia.
Good morning. Look at me with my woolly jumper and you with your, your very small t-shirt.
My summer shirt. And it is hotter than blue blazes here.
Well, it's colder than something here.
It's colder than cold. I trust you. I trust you. So today, Chris, let's do something fun. We're going to change it up a bit.
I love fun. Fun is my middle name.
I know it is your middle name. And what I would like to do today is bring up a picture of an eye and let's kind of discuss it. I know we're doing iridology around the world a little bit different, but I think it's good to kind of interject the fact that, we are teachers, we are instructors, and we can do a little bit of instructing. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's chat about it.
Okay. Let me pull up a picture. So I'm going to go here and whoops. Where's my pictures, Chris? Do you see anything yet?
Not yet. You're not sharing yet.
Okay. Let me go there and share. There we are. Here we can share now. Oh, I'll tell you, I don't like to be rusty on the computer. Now, do you see something?
I do. I see a lovely left eye.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
It is a beautiful eye. We all know this to be a lymphatic eye. And it is.
And acidic. Uric acid.
In uric acid, absolutely. So some people may refer to this as a neurolymphatic.
Yep.
And hyperacidic as well.
Yep.
And we also know it to be
neurolymphatic because of the squiggly fibers.
Yes. Yeah. And polyglandular.
Yeah. And hydrogenoid.
And hydrogenoid, yes, very much so.
Wow.
Very much so.
You've got it all.
Yes. I think so. Yeah. This is like a full meal deal. It's all in here. So we've got a little bit of pigment to work with, and we've got the lacunas that we can pay attention to. So do you want to take a stab and just go for it and call off a few things?
Well, personality-wise, she's a like a stream flower, but you can't see the pigments in the collarette, so that would make her a shaker. So she's probably someone who I don't know this woman, but she's probably someone who is quite out there, has lots, maybe quite a few friends, and likes to be a bit of a leader. Has a lot of ideas.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
I know that she does have many friends. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, on a physical level, I probably think the best thing she could do is just have a lot of hydration. Really good quality food, high nutrient rich food, because when we don't have the high nutrient rich food, when we've got the collarette, the pancreas markings and the collarette that distends out here, it can be quite sluggish. So when I say no high nutrient rich foods, I mean things that will give you lots of nutrients. Like a piece of toast isn't going to give you pretty much nothing, really. No. But like a smoothie with like some spinach and some nuts and some coconut water and things like that, they're going to be high nutrient rich foods, and it's going to be easy for your digestion because it's all mixed up into a smoothie. Yeah,
very good.
What about you, Kathy?
Well, something that stands out to me is a little bit of the squaring of the collarette. And I do happen to know this lady, and I know that there is a history in the family with diabetes.
Yep.
Sugar metabolism issues. So I would definitely ask about when you see a little bit of squaring, and we can see a little squaring right through here and right down here as well. Now there is another spot. I'm going to make this just a touch bigger if I can, so we can really get in here and see. We have a little bit of a bridge down here. Do you see that?
Yes.
Right down there, we have a little bit of a bridge. It's kind of faint right through here. We can see where it's making that connection over there. So that's going to open us up to really asking some questions about the health and the sugar metabolism
Yeah,
processing on the mother's side of the family, because we are looking at the left eye. So
absolutely.
that's one of the questions that I would surely
Yeah.
want to know an answer to. What do you
And
think
if you
about
don't know
that?
any of the, yeah, absolutely. If you don't know any of the history, what I usually do in my clinic is say people with eyes like yours are usually related to someone who has had maybe possibly some sugar imbalance. So possibly it could be hypoglycemia or diabetes or something like that. And then you say, does that make any sense to you? And
Hmm.
usually they might come and say, well, I'm insulin dependent, or I'm this, or I'm that, or my mum was, or etc.
Hmm.
But square collarettes, I'm real fond of square collarettes because I've got two kids with a square collarette, and a square collarette, it doesn't mean you're going to get diabetes
Right.
or anything like that. But I remember when I first taught for Tony Miller, I wanted to use some of my own photos, and I used my oldest daughter's photos, and I think she was like about 4 or 5 at the time, and I said, darling, can I use your photo in my class? And she said, oh, what are you going to say, Daddy? And she said, and I said, well, I'm going to say that you're full of love, because a pancreatic type is like really loving.
Hmm.
And as long as they get as long as they get appreciated at work and in their and surrounded by people that they love,
Hmm.
that gives them the sweetness in life that they
Hmm.
crave. So they crave sweetness.
Hmm.
They want to have, they want to be helpful. They want to be appreciated. They don't want to be overlooked, and that's really important for a pancreatic type. So I'd focus on that.
Hmm. And you're spot
Yeah.
on with this lady. She is that way. With the lacuna, when we notice that in the polyglandular eyes, aside from the pigment, if we just focus on the lacuna itself and the multiple lacuna that we have, we know that this person is really geared to hearing beautiful things. They love their music, whatever music that may be. It soothes their heart. I'm not to say
Yeah.
what that is. It's them. They're the ones that love it. But the good words, the good kind words, the blessings that are spoken, they love that. It just feeds them. They thrive on that. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with a flower in a pot. You water
Yeah.
it, you give it nurture, you give it oxygen, you give it sunshine. If you put another pot over it and don't speak good over it, or you don't give it good nutrition, what does it do? It wilts. It fades away.
Absolutely.
It fades away. Now
Absolutely.
let's bring
Yeah.
in the pigment that we see. Now this person needs a little bit more physicality in that appreciation. Okay, so
Yeah.
now you want to not only verbally praise them or give them verbal nutrients, if you will. Let's add a little bit of physicality behind that. Write them a sweet note, write them a sweet letter, write them a sweet card, give them a beautiful card that they can cherish, because they will. This type
Yeah.
will, they love that type of recognition as well. So that's another observation I'd like to bring out if we can.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
And another thing I just when I look at an eye, I really kind of just focus on 3 things that stand out to me. And one of the things that stands out is in the rarefaction, or the jellyfish lacuna type in the thyroid area, and in the ear, nose, throat area, there's a few asparagus lacunas.
Mm.
So I would say for this lady, it'd be really important to speak her mind, like
Mm.
to actually, she'll do it in a loving way, because she's, you can
Mhm.
tell that she's a loving person.
Mhm.
But to actually speak her mind and not hold things in, I think
Mm.
that'll be really important for her own metabolism, but also to do some exercise like singing. I think
Mm.
singing would be really good for this lady.
Excellent. That does open up that throat chakra. That's a good one. Excellent.
Yeah. And I think anyone with a ring of harmony, singing is really good for.
Mm.
I mean, this lady, for example, she's got the square collarette, which is, I think, a lot to do with being, needing love and being loving.
Mm.
She's got the ring of perfection around in the stomach area. So
Mhm.
she's probably someone who likes to get things done and, cross her I's and dot her
Mhm.
T's and
Mhm.
all of that. The other way around, I meant.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then she's got the ring of harmony. And the ring of
Mm.
harmony, you want to keep people happy. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't like conflict. But the lesson is to is to speak your mind.
Mhm.
Like, I've got a
Mhm.
ring of harmony myself, and it's taken me almost 50 years to to actually speak up if I need something. For example, like yesterday, I went to a dinner with a friend, and I got a glühwein, like a hot wine, and it was so sweet, almost couldn't drink it. And I wasn't going to say anything because that's scary. It's scary to rock the boat and ask the waiter, "Oh, please." But you know what? In the end, we did, and I got another drink, and it was fabulous. And she didn't charge me for the hot wine; that was way too sweet. And it was okay because I spoke my mind, and that's what the really good lesson I think for people with a ring of harmony is to speak your mind because you're important. Like often we put away our own importance because we don't want to rock the boat.
That's right. That's right. One of the things that you said was about you brought up perfection.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that because there is an area down here in the 6 o'clock position. We do see a lacuna in the adrenal area. Classic, very, very classic. But if you look deep inside that, here again, let me pop this up, just get it a little bit bigger so we can all see it just a little bit more. But if we look down in here, we see a radial that just cuts right in through the middle of that. Okay. So this is your perfection marking. Just the lacuna alone is a sign, but we look a little bit deeper. We see we've got a radial in there, and that reinforces, if you will, the perfection marking. And one of the things that we could help our clients with when they have this is to help them understand there is no such thing as perfection. No. You try to do your best and you try to excel, but there's nothing to be perfect about. We don't have to be perfect. Now, I'm going to come straight up from that marking. I'm going to go right into the 12 o'clock position, and we do see separation of fibers right up here. It's just right in the 12 o'clock, but it's opposite that perfection marking. And when we see that gap in that 12 o'clock, it almost looks like a very thin radial, if you will, cutting through here, but it's just the separation of those fibers. But we see that shadowing in there. There is your stubborn marking. Whoa. So when we see that, we have that perfection down at 6, and we've got that stubborn at 12. That's someone that's really having some issues moving past perfection. So they may be a little stubborn to move in the direction that they do need to move in. On occasion, she's probably been, I mean, who hasn't been that way? I mean, really, we all have that little bit of a stubborn streak.
Perfection is a really good way to procrastinate too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We know that. And what's good is to find a young person, a child, start them off young. Let's look at their eyes while they're young so we can help guide them out of that, because it only compounds through the years,
This woman would be such a good employee. She'd be so loyal, wouldn't she?
Yes. And you know what? This is totally off the realm of iridology, but her astrological sign is that of a Virgo. And I don't know if you pay attention to astrological signs. I do on occasion. I pay attention.
Virgo would be probably a perfectionist.
They are perfectionists, but they are very, very hard workers. So if you have a clinic or a shop or a store of some sort, or any kind of business that you're dedicated to, and your employees happen to be Virgos, you will have your workaholics in that field. And it's very hard for them to stop and switch gears and go home. But when they get on something, they get on it. And so they can be very stubborn to turn loose of a position, or, they cannot stop till they feel like the work is done.
Yeah. Awesome. And one of the reasons why we wanted to show you just one eye, because sometimes you can only see one eye. Sometimes people send you a photo of just one eye, but there's so much you can do to help them with just looking at one iris. And also not to be so specific. Like sometimes we can look at all the markings, but that just gets so big, and if they're a flower, it's going to be way over their head.
Right.
For example, there's a marking at about 5 or about 7 o'clock or so, and it's a flower, a closed flower, and you think, is it the bladder or is it the uterus? But it doesn't really matter. Ask them the questions.
Right.
Ask them the questions about people with eyes like yours may have had some issues in their family, may have had some issues with their bladder, or may have had some issues with their hormonal system. And then the story will come out.
And so we just reinforce that with exercise. We can reinforce that with homeopathics. We can reinforce that with our herbs that we have, that we know what to do, or of course our nutrition.
I mean, nutritionally, this woman would do really well being really well hydrated, and on an alkaline diet. An alkaline diet would be great for her.
And I don't know what her blood type is, and it doesn't matter at this point that I know what her blood type is. An alkaline diet pretty much nails it. So that's good. One of the things that I would like to reinforce, if we talk about the eye, we've talked a lot about maybe some sugar issues in the family. And a lot of times people wonder, why do I have diabetes? Why do I have hypoglycemia? Why do I have a craving for sugar? Well, just like you and I've talked, the eye represents that, the signs that we see in the eye. But here's another one. Let's just take it a step further if we can. So I was paying attention to this pancreas marking right at the 8 o'clock. And I know it seems a little bit high for 8 o'clock, but that's okay. But look inside that collarette just opposite that open lacuna, or that's a closed lacuna. Look inside the collarette, and what do we see? We've got that radial. We have an extra flexion in the collarette. I'm going to go right across. This is one of the things IPA level 3 teaches us is
opposites attract.
Yes, where opposites do attract. We have an extra flexion here. The collarette bumps in at this point. And where does it go? It's like an arrow going through an apple. It enters one and it comes out the other. So here's the point. So here's where we see this. So gestationally, what I have thought of and thought about, and this is according to some of Dr. Daniele Larito's teachings and what we learn about the edge of the collarette and extraflexion, interflexion, is that gestationally, this could have occurred between the 3rd and the 4th month of her mother's pregnancy in carrying her. It's going to be a given that she's going to have to watch sugar. So if both parents have issues with sugar metabolism, diabetes, doesn't matter if it's diagnosed diabetes or not, if there's 2 issues with sugar and we start having children, there's a good chance that those children, or 1 or 2 of those children, will also be saddled with that situation as well. And I do believe that this occurred in her being while her mother was carrying her. We're looking at the left side, of course.
It'd be interesting. I don't know the age of this lady, but it'd be interesting to ask her what happened around the age of 18 or so, and
Absolutely.
then around, if she's old enough, around 50 or so.
And you know what I do? Like I said, I do know her, and I knew her when she was 18, and I do believe that there were some hormonal issues coming down the path that back in that time probably weren't so recognized in a young person. A doctor would have probably dismissed that and said, oh, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And I don't know that we knew a lot to run to the doctor, unless we were really, really sick. But I believe that hair loss was one of the first things that she started to experience. And that, of course, is typical of thyroid issues. And we know that can progress later on into some other issues. So, I think this was.
Eye.
I'm sorry?
I'm just saying, what a lovely eye. But
it is.
But I just wanted to reiterate something I said before, is that if you've got children, with a square collarette, and I'm saying this because I've got 2 children of my own with a square collarette. My mission is to show them the sweetness of life, because they may never have to get diabetes or have sugar imbalance issues, but they need to be appreciated and they need to be surrounded by love. And do things that they love. There's no point them doing a job that they're not going to put their love into.
And I know she's a very happy person. She's always been very happy. There's probably times that it was easier for her to speak her mind than other times. She has surely seen her share of sadness and grief through the years, but aside from that, she really she can take some hard knocks, but she gets right back up and she keeps going. And that's the beauty of her. She's a very strong person. It's my life is better for her being in it. And she's taught me a lot about love and kindness and things like that. But that's one of the big blessings of our flowers, that they share that. They share that. Everybody they see, they love them. They love them, and they can find the goodness in them. And that's a beauty. Not everybody can do that, but that's a beautiful thing to have. Anything else you think pops that you want to share? Or?
No, but I was just thinking how lovely it was for you sharing her story like that. And sometimes when I see an eye like this and hear people's stories and I don't know them, I just want to meet them. Like,
I know. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, that's good. I love this. I love that we can just kind of sit down and put an eye up here and just chit chat about it. It's it's no emergency here. We just want to love and guide this eye, and that belongs to this person. We just want to nudge them in a little healthier path and in a better direction, and let them keep on being who they are, because they're gorgeous. They're just gorgeous.
Thank you
Isn't
so
that a good way
much,
to look at
Kathy.
that?
It is.
It is. Well, I think we've just about we've spent our time all up on iridology around the world today, but this has been fun. I think we have a new caveat here. What do you think?
We do. We should do more of this, I think. It's really good for new students as well to be able to look at the eye as a whole.
It's a good reminder for those that have maybe gotten a little rusty in their personality iridology, or a little bit with the behaviors and things like that, or learning those signs and remembering them. But yes, absolutely, for the new students as well, that we don't need to pick an eye apart to find out what's going on, because the story's there. We just have to read it.
Absolutely.
That's all.
That's right.
Well, very good.
Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed this. This has been fun.
Me too.
Well, I think it's time for you to get on with your day.
I am. I've got a full day of clients starting in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm nearing the end of mine. I'm around the downhill side of my day, so I need to finish up a few things before I can hunker down and start all over again.
Well, you have a good sleep.
All right, Chris, you have a good day. Everybody out there, have a good day, and we'll be back next week with another eye to look at.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
That was great.